But, you know, when he indicted me over nothing, they opened up a whole new box. And then I got indicted again and again and again. I was never indicted. In a period of this little tiny period of time, I was like a ping pong ball. Sir, they indicted you here. They indicted you in Georgia. They indicted you in New York. Then they indicted you again in New York, sir. And it was all over. Can I use that word again? But you'll use it. A disgrace. A disgrace. And what they've done is they've weaponized the Department of Justice. The only thing they didn't understand is that we just had the largest fundraising effort in a period of 1 week than anybody has ever had. Did you know that, Marjorie? We took in hundreds of millions of dollars, and much of it was small money donors, what's called a small, average $71. Hundreds of thousands of people contributed that they wouldn't have except for the court case. And our poll numbers are higher now than they were before because the people are watching and they know a fake deal. And this guy can't get elected without it. He can't get elected. He's incompetent. He's an incompetent person. But I never treated him this way. When I got indicted the first time, and then it was like, sir, you've been indicted again. I heard they were going to do it someplace else, and they stopped it. They said, we're indicting this guy into office. The people get it. Normally when that happens, they go to the microphone and they announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be going home with my family, and I'll be fighting for my name. That's the last you ever hear from the person. We have higher poll numbers now than we've ever had. Too big to rig. That's what we want. Too big to rig. Too big to rig. Too big to rig. That's what we want. I have higher numbers than we've ever had. We're leading this crooked thief of a president. And I would never have said that before. I didn't speak glowingly. He's a lousy president anyway. But I would never have said he's a corrupt, very dumb person. He's a low IQ individual, and he always was. This is an age. He's worse now than he was 10 years ago. But if you go back 30 years ago, he was considered the dumbest person in the U.S. Senate. Ted Kennedy told me that himself, who was a friend of mine, which is shocking. Shocking that he was a friend. He was on a slightly different persuasion, Marjorie. But he told me that. He's the dumbest person in the Senate, and he has been from day one. How about this? On the documents. They go after me for documents, and then they find out that Joe has 10 times the number of documents than me. I said, you have to be kidding. And they released him. I said, I don't want to be released like that. They released him on the basis that he's incompetent and he can't stand trial. I said, oh, I see. So he can't stand trial, so they're not going to charge him on 50 years worth of classified documents. He's incompetent. He won't have to stand trial, but he's allowed to run for president. So think of that. You have a guy that can't stand trial. He's not allowed to, by the U.S. attorney, the man doing it, Mr. Herr. Now, I've never heard of this before because he wasn't incompetent. He was never smart, but he wasn't incompetent 10, 15, 20. This is 50 years worth of documents. So he got off. In a sense, he got off. I said, I don't want to get off like that. I did nothing wrong. It's Presidential Records Act. I did nothing. You know, we have a deranged individual named Jack Smith. He's a deranged, dumb guy. He's a dumb son of a bitch. And what he did, and I just want to get off normal. Can you imagine, sir, they're exonerating you. They consider you to be incompetent. And therefore, because you're incompetent, they're going to exonerate you. I said, I don't want that. Let me be guilty before they do that. But think of it. They say he's incompetent and therefore he can't stand trial. But he can run for president. And this is what you're voting for. And I never talked about this guy like this. But you watched him yesterday. And he is so bad for this country. They're all laughing. Everyone's laughing at him. The whole world is laughing, except for the fake news back there that try to pretend he did a good job because they're fake and dishonest.